So the next step is to actually align our thinking particles emitter to a spline. So I'm going to come into my front perspective and I'm going to select the Bezier spline tool, and I'm just going to draw just a nice wiggly line. Doesn't have to be perfect, this is just an example to show you. So this could be useful for example, if you maybe have an intro or something, and you could set this spline particles that fly around your intro or something along those lines. So it could be cool for maybe a particle reveal on a logo or something.